Talio there, champs, and welcome to the show. Today, I guess it's about time I talked about my beast, my workstation computer that I've built. Yeah, I've promised it for a while. If you've been a viewer of my channel for a while, basically it's 70% a workstation and 30% gaming. Most of my videos on my channel I've edited with my XPS 15, but around 20-30 something percent of my videos have been done with this workstation here. And it just depends what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I want to sit at a desk, sometimes I want to kick back on the lounge. And yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown. The XPS 15, 70%, something like that, around 30% I've used this. And this workstation is not built for looks. The case is the Define R5 Fractals case. I love this Scandinavian design. Scandinavians know how to design things. Super clean, super quiet, great sound insulation, and that's why I bought it. Very modular. As you can see, it's very clean in there. You can get this case with a display window, but this is a workstation. It's not a show computer. And just on show computers, Valerie's blue box, that whole setup is finished now. He actually will be upgrading Valerie's blue box, and that's Dodgy's computer, by the way, and that's the blue one you've probably seen. I'll leave a video up here. The whole setup for that's finished. We're going to film another video on that computer there, and that's a show computer, and that thing is epic. It's a really good computer. It's actually going to get upgraded too. We'll stick to this one. So that's the case I have, the Define R5, and I'm a big fan of it. Keeps things very cool. You can see there I have Noctua cooler. They're ugly. The fans are ugly anyway. The color, they don't sort of match the scheme here of the computer, but again, it's not a show computer. Keeps things super quiet. Don't want water cooling. It's a bit too loud. And the Noctua fans are fantastic. And I will leave a link in the description to all these products. So if you like any of these products, make sure you check out those links. And this particularly here, this Noctua fan is the NH-U12DX i4, and it's actually a fan I've seen Puget Systems use. Very quiet, very reliable, and if it's good enough for Puget Systems, who make, you know, workstation computers and so on, it's good enough for me. And they have all the data on all these products, all these motherboards, graphics cards and all that. You check out their site, you can see. So basically, if they use a product, you know it's been tried and tested, because they do not use anything they haven't tested in their system. Now, why did I build it? I like building workstations, or I like building computers. I have for a very long time. I've built loads of them. And for some people, building the computers is not their thing. Well, and if you're a gamer or something like that, maybe you want to have a look at the pre-built ones. Like, there's a lot of good ones around. Alienware make good ones, and other manufacturers, you know, a lot of them make your desktop tower kind of gaming PC. But I really enjoyed building this one. Now, just off the top, the specs in here are, this has 64 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance LPX 3000 megahertz RAM, has an Intel Xeon 2683 processor, 14 cores, 28 threads. I'll get onto that later. That thing is a beast in here. And if you ever want to see Cinebench run like a champ, well, this 14 core Xeon is the way to go. And if this was a gaming PC, I wouldn't put a Xeon in it. And you possibly could put a Xeon, but you're probably better off sticking with the i7s and stuff like that. But again, 70% workstation, 30% gaming. I have two 8TB WD Golds here. I actually only have one in here at the moment. One of them's in Valerie's blue box, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to keep this, because when I built this system, there was a criteria of three things. It had to be rock solid, a rock solid computer. Like, I don't want any hassles, don't want any problems. So I don't want overclocking, I don't want water cooling. I just want a rock solid computer. It had to be silent. That's one other thing. I wanted it to be as silent as possible, and it had to perform like a champ. I mean, if you're going to have a workstation, it's got to perform. Now, I have got a review on those WD Golds. You might want to check those out. Best hard drives on the planet there, those WD Golds. Power supply you can see here is a Seasonic Prime titanium. This is 80% titanium plus, which is the highest rating you can get for a power supply. It's not an analog power supply. It's digitally controlled. And basically, pretty much, if you don't have this Seasonic Prime here, you've probably got a power supply with conceivably a 10-year-old design. This is Seasonic's new design. It's their first redesign in 10 years. They make power supplies for a lot of companies, including Corsair. Some people may not know that, but that's true. A lot of Corsair power supplies are actually Seasonic. They make the best power supplies. If you go look at Johnny Guru's website, he gave it a 10 out of 10. You look at PC Per website, they said it had no cons whatsoever. The best power supply they've tested. And I will be doing a review on this power supply, and yeah, it's the dog's bollocks. It is the biz, that's for sure. Now you might see there, the graphics card there, it's a Titan X, XP, or Pascal Titan, or Pascal, whatever you want to call it. Now originally I had a 1080 Strix in there, and that was fantastic because it was quiet. Now, I know I said this was built for silence, and yeah, that is the loudest thing in there. The WD Golds there, they're not the loudest thing. It's actually this Titan X. Now, it's in there at the moment because sometimes when I was using the 1080, it performed like a champ, but it did run out of memory sometimes when I was playing back stuff. So you'll see on your timeline in Premiere, when you get red bars up the top, you'll see that's run out of memory sort of thing. Yeah, that was happening with some projects that were like 15 minutes or so. And of course, really, I should just convert to Cineform or something like that, or ProRes. But I just use the H.264 that comes out of the camera, and yeah, it's harder on the machine. You probably shouldn't be doing that, but the Titan has an extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, and I haven't run into memory issues since using that. But I can tell you one thing, when they bring out the 1080 Ti, if it has third-party coolers and it has 12 gigs RAM, I'm getting the Strix version. Strix 100%, and this Titan, you can go. And then I'll assess if the WD Gold's allowed, and if they are, I'll take them out. Now the motherboard I have is the ASRock Fatality Professional 3.1 X99 motherboard, of course. And the reason I got this was for a specific reason. If I had my time again, I would get an Asus X99 Deluxe. But at the time, this was the only one that said it supported ECC and RDRAM. Now, the Asus motherboards do as well, but they don't actually list it as a specification. They actually just do support it. They actually work. Whereas like Gigabyte motherboards, you cannot put ECC or RDRAM. But I actually bought some RD or ECC RAM from Crucial, and it said it was compatible with this motherboard, and they weren't. It didn't work, so I just sent them back. Crucial were fine. They took it back, even updated the BIOS on the motherboard. Still that RAM wouldn't work, so I intended to have server ECC RAM in here or Workstation ECC RAM, but ended up just having unbuffered normal Corsair RAM, and yeah, it's been reliable so far, so I can't complain. I would have preferred to have the ECC RAM, but it didn't work for some reason, and considering that the main reason I got this motherboard is because it supported that ECC RAM, if I had my time again, I'd change it to the Asus Deluxe. Another thing great about this ASRock board though is it is good bang for buck. Like, it's typically a couple of $100 or $150 cheaper or something like that. And it actually had 2 M.2 slots, whereas pretty much every other X99 motherboard at the time did not have 2 M.2 slots. I also have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. That's my audio interface I use with this computer. Yeah, it's pretty much the best you can buy at the price point. Definitely highly recommended DAC there. Headphones work well, records great audio, and I have nothing bad to say about it at all. Basically, this thing here, the CPU, the Xeon 2683, it actually benchmarks, in gaming benchmarks, exactly the same, if not better, than a i7 6800K. And that really shocked me because this runs at 2 gigahertz. But if you're only using 6 cores, it runs up to 3 gigahertz. So, and on all cores, 14 cores together, it runs at 2.5 gigahertz. So this is a perfect CPU. Not only does it have like killer computing power, like absolutely crushes Cinebench, and the only i7 that's faster than this, and we're talking about like a bee's diaphragm faster, is the i7 6950X. That's the only one that's faster than this on Cinebench, and we're talking tiny bit faster. Every other i7, whatever, whether it's Skylake, Kaby Lake, Broadwell E, none of them are faster than this CPU. And surprisingly, it benches exactly the same as a 6800K in gaming. So there's no real downside to having this CPU. It only cost me $450 US too, and it's an OEM part, and actually these were around $3,000 in Australia. I think they retailed for about $1,800 US. So yeah, definitely pick one of these up. They're a fantastic CPU. And that's it. I'll just put some footage here of me building it, or should I say dodgy building it. And yeah, this is a moving target. I'm always on the lookout for something else. It also has a Samsung 950 Pro M.2 SSD there, 512 gigabyte, and also have a SATA SSD. I think it's a Samsung. Oh no, it's a Crucial actually. I think, I don't know. To be honest, it's an SSD. The SATA SSD is nothing exciting. The monitor I use is a Philips 43-inch 4K 60Hz monitor. And this thing, 10-bit display, fantastic. Like, it immerses you like nothing else. When you sit 3 feet away from this, you can only see the screen. And it's better than a widescreen. It's better than a multi-screen setup. I mean, it doesn't have the super fast refresh rates of the gaming monitors, but this is, as I said, mostly for a workstation, but for immersion, actually just seeing only the game in your field of view, you can't beat it. And also, 43 inches, you can actually have 4K without scaling. You do not have to scale at all. If you have a 30-inch 4K display, you have to scale. So this is the perfect size for a display without scaling at 4K. But yeah, I'm always on the lookout, things I can improve. Definitely want to put a Strix 1080 Ti if they come out. May increase it to 128 gigabytes RAM, and I have actually maxed it out. I've done stuff in Premiere where it's maxed out 64 gigs RAM. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my beast, give me a thumbs up there. I will be doing another video on Valve's Blue Box, which is basically a performance showcase PC that's all water cooled, and that thing is a friggin' beast. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. I've got lots more tech content coming soon. And until next time, guys, tally ho.